This weekend, the Sports Car Club of America returns to America's National Park of Speed, Road America. Across 2 grueling days of competition, 23 champions will be crowned in an event unique in motorsports. For over 400 drivers, a season's toil culminates in this single event with a chance to earn a coveted gold medal and the title of national champion in the 62nd edition of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Sunoco.
Welcome to the 62nd running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs presented by Sunoco. Thanks to Mazda for presenting our live stream for these Hagerty Race Days. This is Hagerty Race Day number 1 and our first double race of the weekend as we've got a combined race for GT1 and T1. I'm John Phippen alongside Lefty McLeod, but let's go down to the third member of our broadcast team, and that's Hayward Wagner.
Good morning, gentlemen. GT1 grid. One of the coolest things that happens at the runoffs is about to happen right now, and that is a whole row of 800-plus horsepower cars flipping the switch at once. You feel it in the ground, you feel it in your chest. These are the heavyweight fighters here at the runoffs. And on the pole, one of our bare-knuckled fighters, if you will, Tony Ave. This guy just likes to race. That is what he is here to do. This is the first of 4 races that he'll be running here at the runoffs. He's on the pole for this one, but he's got a couple of challengers behind him, and I want to point to the third car on the grid. That is David Penterick, and it's been a few years since we've been able to interview David at the end of one of these races. He is the honey badger of GT1. He is going to get out there and get it done. It's going to go well or not, but he is not going to care. Elbows out this full race. The other storyline here, the T1 field, as you mentioned, is also in this race. And when you look at lap times, your leaders of the national championship race for GT1 and your leaders for the national championship race for T1 are probably going to be meeting each other 6-7 laps into this race. The split format, or the combined groups, is what we do all year long, but never with higher stakes.
Thanks, Hayward. As let's take a look at our Mazda track map as Lefty, take us around this beautiful 4-mile circuit.
It is gorgeous here at the National Park of Speed, but it is the straightaway, the Road America straight, leading it down into turn 1. It is fast. It looks like it's tight. It's only because this whole place is fast. They'll plummet down the hill to 3 and then get the launch, and that's back straight. When we come across the hill before the break-ins on a 5, that's our speed trap. We'll talk about that later. Then you get to the twisty part of the track. You got the uphill left at 5, then you got that sort of blind turn at 6, 7, and then you come all the way down to the kink. As we go through the kink, it is going to be super fast down all the way to Canada, and a lot of passing into Canada. The leaves will be shrouding it. The track will be cold, but it'll be exciting as they come out of Canada, come up and around that Bill Mitchell bend, and finally back onto the Road America straight up that hill after 14.
Indeed, as we get a look at some of the cleanup going on down in the Kettle Bottoms area between the kink, as we had a car put a little oil down on the racetrack, but the crack crew here at Road America doing a fantastic job getting that cleaned up. So just a little delay before we start this one. But GT1, these are the fastest cars here with the exception of the prototypes and the Formula Atlantics. 850 plus horsepower. These are just beasts. I don't know any other way to describe it. And getting to the end is always the issue because when you make that much horsepower, there's a chance things can go wrong.
Yeah, there can be some attrition, and we're kind of hoping for the best here. A lot of these guys know last year's race was some issues at the start, caused a couple of cars to not even make it to the second lap. I think we've learned some lessons. Hopefully we'll get past it this year. But as Hayward said, when these things fire up and that roar the first time they get on the front straightaway and you hear and you feel the building shake, the ground shake, it's an experience that you won't forget. And if you haven't experienced it, you need to get to one of these races. Come here next year for next year's runoffs and experience what these cars, particularly at this track, sound and feel like.
You see these same cars in GT1 run in the Trans Am Series in professional racing. Very similar specification, and not at all uncommon to see these guys run in both. But let's take a quick break and thank some of the partners that make this broadcast possible.
Okay, track day checklist. Let's go. You got your gloves, your helmet, water, snacks, sunscreen, your car is prepped and ready to go. Oof, forgot your track day insurance, didn't you? If you want to be covered for the whole value of your car, you need high-performance driver education coverage through Hagerty. We'll get you a policy for track days, time trials, and more in less time than it took you to apply that sunscreen. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Choose joy. Choose the road. Choose your people. Choose your shot. Take it. Choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. That's it. Way out there. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
My name is Danny Richardson.
Eileen Blondo.
I'm Ryan Chi.
I'm Connor Zilish.
I'm from the San Francisco region.
Part of the Central Carolina region of SCCA.
It just fosters the best, not only in me, but in the cars that I can bring.
I grew up around this amazing community that created me for who I am today.
I belong to the SCCA.
I belong to the SCCA.
I belong to the SCCA.
I belong to the SCCA because every time I come to an event, I feel like I'm at home.
We're Tire Rack. We test tires to provide you with truth, transparency, and unbiased recommendations. We stock over 1 million tires to ensure we have what you need. We're Tire Rack. We work hard to ship your tires fast and free. We offer convenient installation options to keep you moving forward. We do all this for one reason. Tires matter. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
We've talked about GT1, but we've also got Touring 1 in the field. It's a smallish field. We've got 5 cars on the entry list for T1, and, you know, it's a little different story. I mean, a GT1 car is a tube frame chassis with a silhouette body. A Touring 1 car, much more stock-based.
Yeah, these are kind of the evolution of the old, showroom stock cars. These things are essentially street cars with a couple of bolt-ons and obviously then all the safety requirements. So they're very much like what you'd see and drive on the street. But, you know, don't be fooled. These cars are extremely fast. These drivers are experienced. But what we're going to get this year is going to be a new champ in this class. So we'll get to that in a little bit. The field may be small, but it is a mighty field of drivers that are very hungry and looking to try and claim that gold medal.
James Candelario, who will start this race on the pole in his Corvette, his first Tire Rack pole, so looking for his first championship as well out of the Central Florida region. His best finish so far in his Runoffs career. He's had 6 starts coming into this weekend, a third, and that was at VIR in the Touring 1 class back in 2023. As we can see, one of our K9 friends here this weekend at the National Park of Speed, Elkhart Lakes Road America. It's always great to be here. It's one of my home away from homes. I get a chance to accommodate up here on some vintage races weekends throughout the course of the season. I also do some Formula Car racing up here at this racetrack, so it's always great to be back. And the fall colors just beginning to come out. I don't think we're going to have the leaves on the track that was a bit of an issue for us last year. We had some cars definitely having some problems gathering up leaves in the radiators.
Yeah, last year those leaves came just about a week earlier than I think they're going to show up this year, and they cause a lot of havoc with cars overheating. This year, the overheating is going to be just straight up Mother Nature. It is a warm, very warm, unusually warm weekend here in Wisconsin. We're going to see temps today up near 90, at least in the mid to high 80s, and that is unusual in a lot of cars, especially things like GT1s. Are going to have to really watch their heat management.
Yeah, exactly right. And, you know, that's been a factor throughout the weekend, this entire week of testing and qualifying, of course, 2 days of qualifying, and then the race days today. It has been unseasonably warm here in central Wisconsin. So these drivers, you have to be adaptable. They have to keep an eye on their temperature gauges and, all the preparations that they make based on what they think the conditions are going to be can get thrown out the window if the weatherman doesn't cooperate. So at least we've got sunshine. That's the good thing. And the forecast is pretty pleasant for both today and tomorrow. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we won't have any liquid sunshine to contend with.
Yeah, I think, you can never trust the weatherman entirely, but things are at least looking optimistic. We'll say that for the weekend. Really has just been glorious. It's been getting warmer as the week went on. So the qualifying day Thursday was probably 10 degrees cooler. So a lot of these these cars were able to get out and get their laps in. But they, because they qualified relatively early yesterday, kind of beat the heat. And so some of these drivers in GT1, in fact, did set their faster lap on Friday as opposed to Thursday, where the folks that are going to run in the afternoon qualified in the afternoons. They didn't get that better track condition come Friday. So maybe the GT1 had that advantage. We'll see where they get. I mean, they were still sub 2 minute 2 second around this place for Tony Ave on Friday and both Thursday and Friday. Unbelievable lap times. Think about doing 2 minutes around Road America, this 4-mile track. It just boggles my mind. I don't know if he'll go quite 2:01s today, but I wouldn't be surprised if he clips a 2:02 around here.
Yeah, no kidding. We're told we got about a 10-minute delay here as the track cleanup is going to continue. So 10 minutes to fill. Let's see. What shall we talk about? One of the issues that these teams have, and one of the awards that these drivers are able to put in their bag through qualifying, the Sunoco 260 Thursday Award. It's kind of an unusual award. It's 15 gallons of Sunoco fuel, and it's for the driver whose qualifying time on the first day of qualifying on Thursday, the last 3 digits come closest to 260, and so it's kind of arbitrary, but it's kind of a fun award. And the winner of the Sunoco 260 Award for the GT1 class was David Pinterin, and he'll start this race in 3rd position. So David will get a few gallons of
great
Sunoco
shot of the
fuel.
back of his car too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no kidding. The red, white, and blue livery on David's car. Then we've got the same award in the T1 class goes to Hugh Stewart. And although Hugh had his times on Thursday eliminated for a technical infraction of some sort, so I guess he'll still keep the 15 gallons of gas.
Sure, yeah.
Absolutely right. Counting down to 5 minutes now, we understand, on the grid. We've got some other honors for the drivers. The Hawk Breakthrough Award. That's for the driver who improves the most positions from first day qualifying to second day qualifying. And in the GT1 class, that was David Johns, who's making his first runoff start. He picked up 4 spots between Thursday and Friday, so he wins the Hawk Breakthrough Performance Award, which is a free set of Hawk brake pads. Same story in the T1 class, and that was Drew Delmonico, coincidentally, another rookie making his first runoff start as he gets that free pair of brake pads. We've got a couple drivers who have been with us for many, many years. We talked about Mark Webber, who set the record for number of runoffs appearances with his 70th. We'll see him later on today with his 71st runoff start. But Michael Pettiford in the number 41 car out of Louisville, Colorado, in his Chevy Corvette, making his 50th runoff start in this race.
Yeah, he is. And that guy's a lot of fun. I had a chance to talk to him this week. He's a motorsports guy through and through. So he's a driver's coach now, obviously out here racing his Corvette. We were talking about his days of doing road bikes and being here and doing a buck 80 on a street bike or road racing bike around Road America. He said there's just no thrill ever. You just can't get a thrill anywhere else than on a bike. There's just no comparison to anything else. And it's kind of fun just listening to him sharing those stories about what it was like. And he's just saying, I'd get back on it today if I could. One of those sort of guys. So I just love that enthusiasm. I love what he brings. And starting 4th in this field, you never know. I mean, 50th start, we'll keep an eye on him. I'm sure James and Hugh and Drew, they've got something to say about that, but I'm sure Michael would be a great story to watch him today.
Yeah, and another driver who is no stranger to anybody who follows Runoffs competition, of course, is Michael Lewis. He'll start inside of row 3 in the GT1 field. Michael running multiple classes. This will be his 48th runoff start in this race, but he's an 11-time national champion, as opposed to Michael Pettiford, whose best finish was a 2nd back at Hartland Park in T2 back in 2008. Michael is an 11-time champion, including last year's GT3 championship. But that Jaguar XXR is kind of an unusual body, and one that Michael has run for a number of years. But hey, he's right in the thick of it, like I said, inside of row 3. So be curious to see how Michael can do with that veteran car and a veteran driver.
Yeah, and he's very protective of that car. If the conditions are great, he'd rather just make sure to protect the car. But I've seen that car go extremely fast. I was lucky enough to do the commentary in 2018 at Sonoma when he got one of his championships there, and that car was just amazing to watch. And watching him and a driver with his skill, who's obviously going back to his days in Trans Am, this car going back to the days of Trans Am, it's a neat combo to watch, and it's so unique. You see it there with the flames down the side of the black and orange Jag.
Yep.
obviously going to, well, how do you have a Jaguar in here? Well, because at one point Ford owned Jaguar, and you could run a Ford engine, but it's a Jag.
Yeah.
Jag.
But these GT1 cars, especially, like I say, they're all tube frame.
Yeah.
The body is, David Pinteric has run a Cadillac body on that chassis, in addition to the Mustang body that he's got on it now.
With the exception of the IMSA GT3 cars that are in this GT1 field. Michael McAleenan, Taz Harvey, one's in a Lamborghini, the other in the Acura NSX.
Right.
So there are a couple of different things that have been thrown into this GT1 field that I don't know where it's going to go today, but we've seen it at the June sprints when there's a rain condition. These cars do quite well, but we'll see if Taz and Michael can give these other GT1 cars a run for their money.
Yeah, they probably give up a little in horsepower, but they're probably a little handier in the twisty bits. As it looks like the cars are finally rolling away from the starting grid after this cleanup delay. As you can see, the 57 of David Pinteric with that red, white, and blue livery. There's Michael Lewis, as we talked about, in that Jaguar, making their way out on track. As they'll take one lap behind the safety car, and then they'll line up 2 by 2. This will be a split start for these two class races. So all the GT1 cars will be at the front of the field, and the Touring 1 cars will get the second green flag after a bit of a delay. And looking at lap times, the T1 cars, 220 thereabouts. And like I said, the fastest of the GT1 cars, 201.273. That is a new lap record here. So Tony Ave came loaded for bear, looking for his 5th national championship, as it looks like everybody's made it out of the grid and onto the racetrack as they make their way around. So we talked about the Hawk Breakthrough Award. We've talked about the Sunoco 260 Thursday Award. We'd also like to acknowledge the Tire Rack Pole Award for the driver who wins the pole position in both classes. Tony Ave taking his 4th Tire Rack pole, but James Candelaria, as we mentioned, in the Corvette, the T1 pole sitter, his 1st Tire Rack pole position. Thanks to Tire Rack. Sunoco, of course, the presenting sponsor of the Runoffs, and Hawk Break, of course, their long affiliation with the SCCA, and we appreciate all of the work that these folks do as the Mazda safety car makes its way out on track, and that's the second safety car with the T1 cars behind it. So there'll be 2 safety cars, one out in front with the GT1s, and then this second safety car with the 5-car T1 field. As the lead group making its way under the Sargento Bridge and down the hill toward turn number 5, as we'll introduce the starting grid. Here's your first row. Tony Ave in that number 44 out of the Central Carolinas region. As we mentioned, a 4-time champion. Next to him, Dave Rullo in the number 31 out of the Milwaukee region. He is the defending champion of this class. David Pinteric in the number 57 out of the Mahoning Valley region, a 2-time champion, most recently in 2017. Next to him, the 3 of Michael McAleenan out of the Northwest region in his Lamborghini. That's the first of the GT3 cars. In row 3, the number 12 is Michael Lewis, the 11-time champion out of the Cal Club, and Ryan McManus in the number 07 out of the Ohio in his Corvette. In row 4, a rookie, David Johns, making his first start in the number 13 out of the Indiana Northwest region in his Ford Mustang, and Todd Peterson in the 24 Ford Mustang alongside. In row 5, the 8 of Taz Harvey out of the San Francisco region in another of the GT3 cars, the Acura NSX. And next to him, the oldest driver in the field, the number 05 of David Verstand out of the Texas region in his Corvette. In row 6, the number 11 of Rocky Eli out of the Chicago region. I think it's Eli or Ellie. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that, Rocky. And next to him, Jason Fiorito out of the Northwest region in a Dodge Challenger. Finally, in row 7 of the GT1 field, the 73 of Dominic Martinolich out of the Northwest region in a Corvette. And the youngest driver in the field, and making his first runoff start, the number 70 of Daniel Spear out of the Chicago region in his Ford Mustang. Now we take a look at the T1 field. James Candelaria is your pole sitter in the number 134 Chevy Corvette, taking his first Tire Rack Pole Award, alongside Hugh Stewart in the number 23 out of the New England region in a BMW E46 M3, winning the Sunoco 260 Thursday Award. Followed by another rookie, Drew Delmonico in the number 43 out of the San Francisco region in his BMW M4, the Hawk Breakthrough Award winner. And then the veteran, Michael Pettiford in the number 41, the septuagenarian in his Chevrolet Corvette, making his 50th runoff start. And rounding out the field in T1, the 06 of Ronald Lombardo out of the New England region in his Ford Mustang. So 19 cars about ready to do battle here. As we can see a little oil dry still there in the run-up to Canada corner where the front wave is now as they make their way through the northernmost point of this racetrack. There's conflicting stories as to why it's named Canada corner. I prefer to use that nomenclature for the fact that it's the northernmost point of the track closest to Canada. So there may be other stories. Yeah. Some of them apocryphal, but we'll see.
Well, with all this oil dry, watch the opening lap. Who's tentative on the oil dry? Who's aggressive? We know we've heard drivers like Paterick may be aggressive. Also, those GT3 IMSA cars could be very aggressive. They may be able to get a little bit of an opportunity here with McAleenan potentially here on this opening lap. But we'll see who defends and who gets aggressive.
You see McAleenan in that Lamborghini Huracan. It looks almost out of place in this field. So low slung, obviously very aerodynamic, but the big high horsepower GT1 cars now climbing the hill as they come under the attention of the starter. Tony Ave on the inside in that orange and black liveried Chevy Camaro. And Dave Rouleau, the defending champion, alongside. And there's the green. We are underway. Ave getting the jump and Rouleau staying right with him as Ave's going to take the defensive line down into turn number 1. Now he sweeps over in front and he'll take the customary racing line. Paterick up into third spot as he slots it in as they make it through turn 1 under the Aaron's Tunnel and over down toward turn number 1 as we stay with the GT1 field. As Ave getting a little bit of a jump. Paterick, just as you said, Lefty, looking aggressive here at the front. He's right on the back of defending champion Dave Rouleau.
Yeah, early on he's going to be jumping. Wait till they get, though, hurry downs and beyond where a lot of the oil dry is on the track, and we'll see if they're very tentative. There won't be a lot of places to go side by side. We saw how dusty it was going into Canada. Right here it's clear, but it won't be as they get the next half mile down the track.
And now here's the second wave for the T1 cars as they come to the start. James Candelaria in the Corvette with the black nose, and then the BMW of Hugh Stewart alongside. There's the green. Very different exhaust note for these T1 cars as they don't rumble quite as much as their GT1 counterparts. But Candelaria doing a good job. The Floridian down into turn number 1. It looks like Hugh Stewart's going to hang on. Good side-by-side racing behind between Delmonico and Michael Pettiford. Pettiford in that yellow number 41 Corvette going for third here. As Pettiford looking for his third medal in Runoffs competition. He's got a second and a third to his credit as we turn our attention back to the leaders in the GT1 wave as they're heading down into Canada corner. Lamborghini, very different exhaust note to these rumbling V8s, and Ave is getting away at the front. No surprise. Tony Ave knows one pace, and that is flat out. In addition to a very good shoe behind the wheel, he's a pretty good race car builder too.
Yeah. Yes, he is. And prolific. A lot of cars here in the Ave garage. But yeah, you're right. First lap, he's already got a huge margin over Rouleau and Paterick.
Now there's no oil dry on the front straightaway, and I'm seeing a little bit of smoke out of the back of this car. It's early on. Let's say it's maybe a little overflow, maybe a little oil on the headers, but that might be a sight to watch. And already we've got a car off as the 06 of Ronald Lombardo the Ford Mustang got into the bridge right there at the Motul Bridge. That's at the exit of turn 8, but he's able to continue. We can see there's some body damage there on the left rear.
Got to watch if there's any debris now from that, the way that he had backed into the embankment for the bridge and then came back out of there, and obviously have the fascia hanging off. Flaggers will be keeping an eye on that and seeing if it gets dropped somewhere down after the kink. That could be a dangerous piece they'll have to go fetch, so we'll keep an eye on it.
Ryan McManus in the 07 in front. Right behind him, Michael Lewis, the 11-time champ in that number 12 Jaguar, going side by side. And here's the battle at the front in T1 as Candelaria in the Corvette and Hugh Stewart in the BMW nose to tail as they climb the hill to complete race lap number 1. Stewart peeking out to the inside just to get a little fresh air on the radiator. And now the Corvette's going to have a little more grunt, I'm guessing. So Candelaria able to pull away on the straightaways, but that BMW should be a little handier on the braking zone.
Yeah, you watched Hugh get through 14 very quickly and got right up under the back of the deck lid of Candelaria, but he got to the horsepower of the Corvette and just started pulling away, and I'm seeing a couple of leaves on the inlets. Back to the story of 24. There may still be a couple of leaves that came down this morning. I don't know if it's going to be enough to make a difference, but we'll keep an eye on that as this battle continues here between the Corvette and the Jag.
Yeah, this is a great battle. Ryan McManus, Michael Lewis, and then the Lamborghini right up behind them. Lewis going to the inside of Canada, but not quite close enough. And the Lambo's going to try to go around the outside.
That's Taz Harvey in the Acura.
You're right, absolutely. Sorry, I misidentified it. As Taz Harvey worked his way up into 7th position. The Lambo's running 4th. Michael Macalino up in front. So a pretty good three-way battle here, and this is for 5th, 6th, and 7th in the GT1 field. As they climb the hill, Ryan McManus in that Corvette. 07 out of the Ohio region. His best finish in the runoff so far. A second at 2022 at Virginia International Raceway. Once again, Michael Lewis trying for that inside move, but can't quite get alongside, so he has to fall back in line astern as they head down the hill toward turn 3.
McManus seemed to break a little earlier than Lewis was expecting, and Lewis got down in there, kind of found himself a little bit of that vortex and just backed out. You saw him pick up 3rd in the apex. That was him just trying to make sure he gave McManus enough room. But look at this now as they go through the kink.
Three-way battle for the lead in T1. So it's Candelaria, Stewart, and Delmonico. Stewart in the multicolored BMW, and Delmonico, the rookie, down to the inside, and he's going to take 2nd spot. Late on the brakes, but here comes Hugh Stewart trying to fight back as they still kick up that oil dry left over from the cleanup from the earlier race today. So new 2nd place runner on his debut here. That's Drew Delmonico up into 2nd spot.
Yeah, aggressive move going into Canada up the brakes. Hugh saw him coming, gave him the room. Now, though, they got to make sure they don't lose the Corvette of Candelaria out in front of them. We'll see if there's a little bit of a draft here. I know you start talking about T1 cars using the draft, but I mean, you know, they're not GT1s, that's for sure.
Delmonico's car just a little more legs here on the top end. Hugh Stewart, I think, has got that car dialed in. And you're right, we're already seeing some leaves on the radiators here. So we'll keep an eye on it. Not as windy as it was here a year ago, but you can see the beautiful fall colors here at America's National Park of Speed. Candelaria hanging on to the lead as they bend it out of turn 3 and work their way under the Sargento Bridge. But here's Tony Ave, the overall leader. But behind him, Dave Rouleau set the fast lap of the race a lap ago. Ave now retakes the fast lap, a 2:04.1. There's the 06 of Lombardo being lapped by the leaders. That's the 31 of Dave Rouleau, the defending champion out of Heartland, Wisconsin. This very much his home track. Running right now just about 4.5 seconds behind the leader, Tony Ave. David Peterick another 5 seconds back in 3rd.
Lombardo still with that fascia on the Mustang, kind of clinging on. Starting to wonder if maybe he'll get a black flag for that if it looks like it's going to come off.
There's the Lamborghini of Michael Macalinen running in 4th right now, but he's about 10 seconds behind Peterick. So it looks like the GT3 cars not quite up to the task of the fastest of the GT1 machines at this stage, but we're still very early on in this one, working race lap number 4. There's Dave Peterick in the number 57. Mustang-bodied GT1 car out of Canfield, Ohio. David, as we mentioned, a 2-time champion, but he has not won this race since 2017 was the last time he took the top honors, and that was at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I remember that race very vividly. David was absolutely over the moon for that win. As we turn our attention back to the T1 battle now, with the 134 of Candelaria in the Corvette, holding off the challenge of the rookie, Drew Delmonico. James out of Boca Raton, Florida, from the Central Florida region. Drew out of San Francisco, of course. And then Hugh Stewart in 3rd out of Milford, Connecticut, the New England region. There's that pair of BMWs. Hughes is a E46 M3, as Delmonico's is an M4. A 2023, much more contemporary car, so he may have a little advantage with some electronic driver aids, perhaps, in the T1.
Yeah, so look at the hood of Hugh Stewart's car. Just got a little bit of a movement to it. Should be okay, but Anytime you see that on a car like this, start to wonder if that's going to be too loose.
As they exit turn 3 and head under the Sargento Bridge, one of the landmarks here at Road America.
You watch these T1 cars and you watch how they attack curbs a little bit more. Then you look at the GT1s and all of them are just tiptoeing. They won't want to touch those curbs. Don't want to start shaking things too loose in a car that shakes itself loose. But you watch these guys, no problem. Right across the rumble strips at the exit of 5. They'll cut the curb at the apex of 7 and 8 and the others. Not the GT1s. They'll stay off of those like lava.
James Candelaria, what a great recovery story. He came to the runoffs a year ago after having a heart transplant in the December prior to it, and so that's been now 2 years ago. But James, made it part of his recovery routine to think about that heart transplant. I want to get back into the race car, and by golly, he did. As this battle between the 07 of Ryan McManus and Taz Harvey in the Acura NSX.
Michael Lewis looks like he was able to kind of shed these two and move up a little bit, leaving them to battle amongst themselves as they go around Lombardo, the T1 car there. But this is turning into a pretty good fight here between two very different cars. Between of course the Corvette full GT1 Trans Am type spec car, and then that GT3 of Taz Harvey and that Acura. There aren't many of them out there, but he managed to get one now as the new generations have come along. The older ones are available, and talking to him yesterday, he loves driving that car.
I'll bet. Yeah, absolutely. There's Michael Lewis working his way through the carousel all by himself, currently in 5th spot, about 7 seconds behind Michael McAleenan in the Lamborghini. With the exception of Michael Pettiford, Michael, the
little bit, just
most experienced driver.
You watch the tail of Lewis just going through the kink there in the back slid. He got to the curb, and I get nervous when I see that. When a Spec Miata does it, when I see a GT1 Jaguar going through there.
At probably way into triple digits, yeah.
Unbelievable control there for Michael Lewis.
Yeah, absolutely right. Michael, racing multi-classes here again this weekend. I know he's got a GT3 car, I think, and he's got, I want to say...
Is it F-Prod now?
F-Prod, yeah, I think he's in that one
The old
as well.
GTL spec now,
right,
part of F-Prod.
Yeah,
same
exactly.
car as the GT3, but with the motor swap, and we'll get to that in those races.
Exactly.
A lot of these guys now, as we're turning laps 4 and 5, are turning their quickest laps. I'm seeing on the timing screen a lot of green sectors, personal best popping up as these tires finally get enough heat. The cars are all warmed up. The cars are happy. Drivers are groove. The oil drive gets cleared away. So things are settling in. Lewis picking up speed, seems every lap 2 seconds faster than McManus and Harvey doing behind him. And Lewis now matching lap times with McAleenan in the other of the GT3 spec cars. So Lewis may want to maybe close to making a run at that 4th spot. Yeah,
he's, like I say, he's right now about 7 seconds behind, but lapping, very similar lap times, but they're all in the 210s and up. The top 3 lapping in the 206s, 207s. So Ave setting the fast lap of the race at a 204 flat on lap number 4. Speaking of which, down into Canada corner. Looking at the speed trap times, the quickest car in the speed trap is the number 57 of David Peterit, and 179.033. The speed trap is in the run down to turn number 5. So just give you some indication of the terminal velocity that these cars have.
These are T1 pack.
Yeah, the top 3 have already catching and passing the T1 leaders. As the T1 leader, Candelaria, is running 12th overall. So with Peterit getting by, the top 3 GT1 cars have already put these cars a lap down. So they'll get to do 12 laps instead of 13, which may be a blessing in disguise. We'll see.
This T1 battle is going to be a real challenge, looks like, for Hugh Stewart because of the horsepower, I think, that he doesn't have compared to the other 2 cars. We'll keep an eye out. Can he maybe force them into errors and make that pass, or is he going to be struggling, fighting uphill with the horsepower against him?
This battle between McManus and Harvey, though, is a dandy.
Yeah.
And again, that's for 6th and 7th in GT1. Ryan McManus in the 07. his 11th runoff start. Taz Harvey. And the 8 car just about making his 13th runoff start in this one. Still looking for both of them still looking for their first wins, although they both have podium finishes, second place each for McManus and Harvey, and a pair of thirds for Taz Harvey as well.
Yeah, we'll see Taz Harvey again, I believe, running an STU later this weekend in another different sort of spec car for that class, but having a good race here with McManus in this group.
Interesting to see, you know, in the horsepower sections of the course, as we expect, McManus with the advantage, kind of running all by himself, but now into the handling section of this racetrack, and that's where Taz is going to close back up. As we check another battle a little deeper in the pack, the 05 of David Verstand, the oldest driver in the field, and Dominic Martinolich. Dominic making his first start, if memory serves. Nope, sorry. Dominic started back in 13th position, and he's picked up some spots here to close right up on the back of Verstand in that 05.
Oh, we're gonna spin. This is the leaders in T1.
Yeah, both of them, and that's gonna promote Hugh Stewart into the lead in T1. But they've both been able to continue.
I think they've got McAleenan now ready to lap them, so you're gonna have this Lamborghini trying to poke on by. But it's also that they were able to continue.
We got a replay here coming down into Canada.
Oh, that is a late move.
That's a
for
rookie
Delmonico,
mistake.
And that's the contact between them.
Yep. Delmonico tried to stuff it down in there, left the braking as late as he dared, and not late enough as he uses the leader's car as a backstop to make the apex.
Well, this will be interesting. I was mentioning Hugh Stewart doesn't have the straight line speed. He needed something, and that might have been his something.
Yep.
And now he's going to obviously have to get past here, and this shouldn't be a big deal down there towards 3 for McAleenan to go on by. He's got one more long straight, and then we'll see what pace he really has through that middle sector of the track when he gets to turn 5. And is there any sort of damage because it was the left front here at Delmonico? Does he have an alignment issue? Did the right front of Candelaria get it all skewed? So we're going to keep the pace in these guys for the next lap or so as Michael Lewis now is trying to put them a lap down.
Down the hill comes the 3 of Michael McAleenan in that Lamborghini, running pretty much by himself, about 22 seconds behind the lead trio. David Pinteric mounting a bit of a charge here. On the last lap, he was about a second quicker than Dave Rouleau in front of him. He's about 6 seconds behind Rouleau in the battle for the silver medal. As Michael Lewis putting Candelaria a lap down. As Lewis bends it out of turn 8 and into the carousel once again.
Candelaria's new heart is being put to the test right now after what's going on in the last 3.5 miles. Not only does he give up the lead, now he's got these faster GT1 cars going by and he can't do anything about it. I mean, their apex speeds aren't a lot faster than a T1 car. It's the straightaways where the GT1's have the advantage. So he's got in this twisty part with these bigger cars going through, and he could just see Hugh's BMW getting a little further in the part of the track where Hugh's already got the advantage. So we'll see if James can settle himself down and get back on track. He's got the pace to catch up. He's just going to have to work at it now.
Here's Pinteric, the fastest car in a straight line in this motor race right at the moment. Just shy of 180 miles an hour.
I giggle every time I see and hear and I look at those numbers about how fast these things are. Just rockets.
The audio on our live stream here is fantastic, but it is nothing like the live experience of these cars. And certainly encourage you, as Lefty said earlier on, get to a racetrack and listen to a track full of these GT1 cars. It's an experience you won't soon forget. Candelaria is on the move, though. He is not going to let Hugh Stewart take this one away from him if he can avoid it, as he has closed the gap now, down to about 2.2 seconds at the line. And looking at lap times, Stewart was at a 2:22, Candelaria also at a 2:22, but about half a second quicker. So he's gradually reeling him in, and we're only,
and that was the lap. That was the lap where I would say that Candelaria got caught out with a couple of the faster cars in difficult spots. So to be able to be 3/10, 4/10 quicker and have all that, says he definitely has the pace. Well, he's about to have a couple more GT1s coming his way as that McManus Corvette's about to come through. Very similar to what he ran into, so we'll see if he can, look how close he is now. He's within maybe 3 car lengths already. Delmonico's pace, though, looks off a little bit. It's that last lap for him. Several seconds, but 3 seconds slower, 2 seconds slower, I think, than the other guys, but he'll have to recover. I guess it wasn't that slow. It was a couple tenths slower than Candelaria's.
He's pretty much back on the pace, but Candelaria's on the charge for sure. As he's trying to retake that lead. That was snatched away by no fault of his own, but Hugh Stewart, tip of the hat to him for doing the job. Sports car picked Candelaria to win this one, and I think he's got a good shot at it. As right behind him is the 07 Ryan McManus, the 6th place GT1 car. As they're going to go side by side here at the King. I think not.
Again, Candelaria can't be happy. It looked like for a second there, McManus was just going to wait, and he got caught between, do I go now or after the King? And he decided to go, but he couldn't quite get there. I don't think the apex speeds are drastic. Yes, there's more aero on a GT1, but they are big and heavy. And but he goes up there, so that's going to set Candelaria back another probably 5-6 car lengths. So the uphill battle continues with not many laps.
We'll see how it shakes out as McManus will soon be catching the leader, Hugh Stewart, and it might be the same kind of situation for him as Candelaria. And that Phoenix prepared Cadillac, or Corvette, I should say. Checking the lap times. Again, the traffic, a little bit of a factor for James on that one. So he was about a 10th slower than Hugh Stewart. So it's about a 3-second disadvantage that he's going to have to try to make up. Meanwhile, the 21 of Jason Fiorito and David Johns in the 13, putting him a lap down. As the back of the GT1 field working its way through the T1 leaders.
Just watching James's car on all the corner edges, we'll see if we can get a good shot of him coming down into 5. The car might be a little squirrely. He's wondering if either just the heat and tires, or does he actually have an alignment issue from the contact a few laps back. So keep an eye on that Corvette, how much control he's got on entry. Clearly he's got the power, but yeah, you can see a little twitch there kind of on the exit at 5 there, which sometimes happens, but there may be a little bit of toe out, maybe even on his right rear if that's where the contact was a bit ago.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, but his lap times, his best lap of the race is a 2:21.6. He's currently lapping at a 2:22.2, so he's not that far off his best lap time from earlier in the race.
It's showing good pace. This lap, Hugh Stewart gets held up a little bit in this part by those GT1 cars going by. This is now helping Candelaria. This back and forth of they were a second apart, then 3 seconds apart. Now they're probably back to within a second and a half apart as they head down to the part of the track past the King, where the Corvette should have the horsepower advantage to get him all the way down into Canada. So it's exciting. And Delmonico hasn't gone away yet.
Yeah.
So he's about the same gap. You can see all 3 of them in the shot there.
So there's first, second, and third in T1 in the same camera shot. Not the case for Tony Ave with a 16-second lead out in front of Dave Rouleau, the defending champion, who has an 18-second lead over the third-place runner, David Pinteric. So the GT1 medals pretty well settled at this stage, but we've still got 3 laps to go as we are working race lap number 11. So this is where Candelaria can maybe make a little hay here on the front straightaway as they crest the hill.
Yeah, he should have the most horsepower in this battle. Hugh Stewart has the least horsepower in this battle, so this is definitely the part you can watch almost. You can see the gap closing. You can see the speed difference of Candelaria now already going into 1. Hugh super late on the brakes, trying to carry everything he can through that very fast turn 1. They'll do the same thing at 3 as they head up the back straight. And both cars squirrely under braking.
Yeah, especially saw that on Candelaria's car as he got on the binders down into turn 3.
Oh, they're pushing so hard. They never had a chance to take like a break or 2 lap. The 3-car battles like this, there's no chances to.
Here they come down the hill toward turn 5. One of the best passing opportunities, and Candelaria is there. Yeah, just about a car length. So yeah, the
2 uninterrupted straightaways is what he needed to get there. He got good exits off of 14 and a great exit off of 3, and now Stewart goes defensive in through 6.
James showing him in the nose to let him know that he's there. As they make it through a very tricky turn 7, just a touch on the brakes, you can see, to get the weight on the nose of the car. And then hurry down toward turn number 8.
Didn't have to go defensive at 8 at least. He had enough of a gap from 7. He should be good through the carousel and kink, and then we'll see if James has a shot as they get down to Canada.
Another GT1 car to add a little spice to the mix. Another shot of the 05 car of David Verstappen.
To check in with Dave Petarek. His pace has been down quite a bit. His trap speeds are down. I've been watching his lap times. He's 5-6 seconds a lap slower than McAleen, curling in 4th in that Lamborghini. So there could be a change for podium position if Peterek's got an issue.
Once again, one of the GT1 cars playing a factor here as the 13 car of David Johns, making his first runoff start, works his way through this lead battle, but now it's a straight fight as we're coming up to complete race lap number 12.
Candelaria is as close as he's been in since the lead change, and this is where the advantage goes to the Corvette. We can see something happening before we get down to turn 1. He's definitely close enough to get side by side under the braking.
White flag next time by for these two, as this battle has been compelling. And here comes Candelaria. He's got the momentum down into turn number 1. Stewart does his best to stay late on the brakes and go
there.
High, wide, and handsome around the outside, but he can't quite close the deal. Candelaria takes the position. And he should be able to stretch it here in this next run, but look how squirrely that car is.
Yeah, big slide on the way in, but I think he's still able to get the power down on the way out.
White flag up for Tony Ave, as he is on the move. But like I say, we'll keep an eye on David Petarek because his lap times are way off what he was running earlier, as that lead between he and McAleen has shrunk to about 6 seconds.
Oh, another mistake there for Candelaria.
Too late on the brakes. But Stewart,
I think he checked up because he didn't sure which way the Corvette was going to go, so Stewart not able to capitalize.
Top of the hill there at turn 6, and then they head back downhill after the exit of turn 7, down toward turn number 8. Stewart right out to the edge of the track.
Using everything.
Every bit of it.
Let's see if he can be on the tail of the Corvette as they come off of the carousel.
McAleen has caught Petarek as they just flash by our vantage point here, so we'll watch that battle for third in GT1 as well, but this one is compelling because it's for the gold medal.
And there is the battle for third in GT1. Oh, squeezing. Petarek squeezes McAleen at the apex.
Can the GT3 car get on the box here? As something has gone away from David Peterek's car, but this battle for the T1 lead continues.
What does Hugh Stewart have in him? Because we know the Corvette's got the advantage on these straightaways. He's going to have to tuck up behind. Going here, he's hopefully slowing the exit speed of Candelaria. Can he do it and get a better run for Hugh?
Yep, that's the plan, I think. See if he can tuck in the draft. This will be a dress rehearsal for the final lap here as they're climbing to the white flag.
And maybe they can start to draft up the other T1 car, Lombardo, who's just ahead of them.
Meanwhile, not far behind them, here comes Tony Ave to the checkers. No challenge for Tony, leading from the drop of the green flag. Tony Ave takes the win and his 5th national championship from the pole. Never headed, setting fast lap of the race on the way. Second place goes to Dave Rouleau, the winner a year ago. So on the box once again for Dave Rouleau in the 31 for the silver medal. And here comes the third place runner, and that is Michael McAleen. After late race troubles for David Petarek, he'll have to fall back to 4th. McAleen with the Lamborghini into the final sequence of turns, and up the hill he comes to see the checkered flag to take the bronze medal in GT1. Tough break for Petarek. He had the pace all race long, but something went away about halfway through. But he is still able to hang on to a 4th place finish. And here's the battle for T1.
So Stewart's maybe about a car length or two further back than he was at this point a lap ago, but I think he's got a chance to get down. We saw him pressure going into Canada. We saw him make the move, try to be side by side at 14. I think that's his best chance here to force Candelaria into a really bad exit. But if it's a drag race, the Corvette's going to have the advantage. Their torque off the corner isn't that different. It's the end of the straightaway, so maybe there's enough for Stewart to try and get a run if he can get inside going into 14.
Yeah, his mid-corner speed through the kink was really good. Down into Canada, late as he dares. Candelaria going a little defensive. Oh, no! And Stewart gets sideways. Oh, no! Hang on to it, Hugh. Hang on to it. And he's going to lose second.
Oh.
He threw everything at it in the final braking zone on the racetrack. And Delmonico, on debut, is going to take the silver medal, it looks like. But James Candelaria, after a spin caused by contact with another car, not his fault, comes back to take his first gold medal in Touring 1. I bet that transplanted heart is beating a few beats a minute right now as he's going to celebrate that one. You can see him celebrating in the cockpit. Congratulations to Drew Delmonico, in his first runoff start, and a heartbreak for Hugh Stewart. It was so close.
Such a good race, though. He knew he had to get a really good run off of there to have a chance at 14. And the car, he had just almost driven the tires off of it. These guys driving so hard.
Tony Ave already into the pit lane as he is heading down to have a talk with our pit reporter, Hayward Wagner. Hayward right there to greet our winner in GT1. Tony Ave, car builder, racer par excellence. I think he's even got a Formula Atlantic car here this week.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, so he's not only doing tin tops, but he's got an open wheeler as well.
He'll race anything. Snowmobiles, everything.
Exactly. Let's head down to a trackside with Hayward Wagner and our new GT1 champion. Guess we're not quite ready as Hayward's getting himself in position here. As the grid marshals, CC there getting the winner's hat on our leader. Oh, it looks like we've got a camera issue, so bear with us just a second. Dave Rulo came home in second spot in GT1. There's Candelaria, the T1 winner, taking his cool down lap with Drew Delmonico right behind him in that contemporary 2023 BMW M4.
T-Race may have been a small field, but it was a mighty field.
Oh, man.
Three-way battle, all three of them from green flag all the way to the checker. A little bit of contact in the middle, but in the end, everybody was able to shake that off. And for Candelaria to get that first goal, it's going to be special.
And Michael Pettiford, unfortunately, did not make it to the end, but he'll finish in 5th position. As Ronald Lombardo, with that early spin, a lap down to those leaders, comes home in the 4th spot. As I think we're finally ready down trackside. Hayward, take it away.
Tony, sometimes an uneventful race is just what you're looking for.
Yeah, in this case, for sure. I was bummed last year we didn't win, and GT1's kind of always been my favorite place, so we came back here really focused with this Avi Riley 3 that Bill Riley and I did, and I have to say, a couple guys that were super helpful to me throughout my career that we don't have anymore, Denny Lamers and Bob Riley. This is for those guys, they made everything I do possible over the years, and this was the last car that Bob designed, and so I was thinking about him the whole time riding around out there.
Well, a very special win for you, your 5th Runoffs championship. Enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
Well done to Tony Ave, and a great tribute to the late, great Bob Riley and Denny Lammers, of course, which we lost here not long ago as two fixtures of GT1 racing. And Bill Riley, Bob's son, of course, involved in the development of that chassis. But Dave Rulo and Michael McAleenan standing by to talk with Hayward as our 2nd and 3rd place finishers in this race as well. McAleenan taking that 3rd place bronze medal and the end of this race after Pinteric's problems. Let's head back down to Hayward with second and third.
Dave, a silver medal for you here at the Runoffs. How does it feel to be on the podium?
Oh, it's great to be on the podium. I was fun running with these guys. Gave her all I had early on, trying to keep up with Tony. He pulled away, but kind of had a race out there by myself. But either way, proud of the team putting us up in second. So, want to give a great thanks to all my family and my crew for getting us here.
Well, congratulations to you on the silver. We're going to get Mike, our bronze finisher. Hey, Mike, come on up. Sometimes you just got to be in the right place, and it looks like you were.
Sure. Always knew that we didn't have the legs for these guys, but our whole game plan all year is we're consistent, we're there, and be there at the finish. And I got a little bit lucky. Something happened to poor Dave and picked him off on the last lap, but otherwise it was a pretty lonely race.
Well, congratulations on the podium. Beautiful car.
Thank you much. Thank you much.
And we've got three more podium finishers to talk to as James Candelaria, Drew Delmonico, and Hugh Stewart will have a chance to chat, but let's take a quick look at the top 10 in GT1 as Tony Ave taking his fifth national champion. The defending champion Dave Rulo coming home in second, but look at that margin of victory, 21 seconds over Michael McAleenan, taking that, and then David Pinteric, Michael Lewis, Ryan McManus, Jason Fiorito, Taz Harvey, David Johns, and David Verstappen, the veteran, coming home in 10th position. And let's head down to our T1 winner, James Candelaria with Hayward Wagner.
James, I saw a couple of ladies over here when you came across the finish line jumping up and down and yelling. I'm watching your watch blow up with text messages. How does it feel to be a Runoffs national champion?
It's unbelievable. I've been after this for so long, ever since I started racing with SCCA. It's the pinnacle of amateur sports car racing. I got to thank all the workers, my family, my crew, my team, Phoenix Performance. It's just been, I've been after this forever. I don't even know how to feel. You can see I got tears in my eyes. It's something special.
What was in your heart? What were you feeling when the contact was made in Canada, the car came around? Did you think it was over? Did you think you had a chance? What did that do to your mindset in the race?
It made me feel exactly like I felt last year when I spun it on my own accord, like, all right, there goes my shot. But, I just put my head down. I was like, is it drivable? Put it in first gear, drove it out, and the car thankfully developed a push, but nothing serious. I was able to keep driving, and that just motivated me to just get back around Stewart. Stewart is a fantastic competitor, and I always love racing with him. He didn't make it easy, but we got it done.
Well, everybody gets a runoff story. This year, yours is a spin to win. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Great job, Hayward, as we'll have a chance to chat with Drew Delmonico and Hugh Stewart. Delmonico inheriting that second spot after Stewart threw it in there in Canada corner on the last lap, trying to make a move on Candelaria, but unfortunately it cost him enough time that Delmonico was able to make that pass, and the rookie will take second place honors in his first runoff start. And let's head down to Hayward with Drew Delmonico.
Drew, you drove the Michelin logo off the tire of this car. Tell me about this race.
Fantastic. Such great competition with Hugh and with James. Absolutely fantastic up front, so close. James and I got into a little bit of it in Canada corner, was on the inside, and just there was no grip, oil on the inside of the track, so the car just went for a bit of a ride. And I think actually I have to apologize to James, but also thank him for helping me stop and actually make the corner. So, but it was fantastic racing, fantastic competition. SCCA, absolutely fantastic program. Want to thank Greg Leafouge, my driver coach. I would not be here without him today. The guy is just the consummate professional. Want to thank the guys from Cameron Racing, in particular my crew chief, Kulana Cummings. Love you, man. Love you. You put this car back together after Sonoma. Amazing, amazing work. And then last but not least, San Francisco BMW, Vincent Varela. Thank you so much for getting all those parts from Germany for us. And my wife and daughter, Vanessa and Sophie. The support is just incredible. Would not be here without that system.
Well, congratulations to you on the silver. Hugh, you're coming up with a bronze. You had the best seat in the house for some of this race. You had the best view in the house. You were all over the place. How does it feel to come home in bronze?
Not what I wanted, obviously. I led for a little while, and then I realized I couldn't hold off James because he just had too much in the straights, but I figure I could make another run at him in the last couple of turns. And while I was in second, I just tried to sail it into Canada corner and a bunch of other spots because I was quicker and I was going to try and make a pass in the last turn, and it just didn't work out. I looped it at Canada. Don't know really what happened, but awesome race. Fun to race with these guys. SCCA, as always, puts on an amazing show. I have to thank Hoosier. The tires were awesome. MCS shocks. They got me some 4-way adjustable shocks. Those things are amazing. High Speed Motorsports puts the car together. Do a great job. Koenig, our wheel sponsor. Awesome wheels. They went over the curbs, no bends. You know, anyone that I missed, thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, you left it all on the field, so to speak. Congratulations.
Second place, I didn't care. Second, third, if it wasn't a win, I don't care where I finished.
Congratulations to you for salvaging that third place finish. As here's your finishing order: Candelaria taking the win, Delmonico second, Stewart at third, Ronald Lombardo despite his crash, and then unfortunately Michael Pettiford, the veteran, unable to make the finish of the race, but he'll take fifth place honors nonetheless. And so once again, let's thank you for being with us for our first double race of the weekend. There are more. GT1 and T1 in the record books is the 62nd running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs presented by Sunoco. Thanks to Mazda for presenting our streaming broadcast of the Hagerty Race Days. I'm John Phippen for Larry McLeod and Hayward Wagner. We'll see you down the road.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, all for less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Choose joy. Choose the road. Choose your people. Choose your shot. Take it. Choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. That's it. Way out there. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Shopping for tires used to really grind my gears. So many tires, and the thought of choosing the right one made me, Precisely. That's before I went to TireRack.com. I got the best deal hands down. My tires ship fast and free, arrive the next day like clockwork. Tire Rack even gave me 2 years of free road hazard protection. Precisely.
TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.